Again, I would just like to thank everyone for attending and coming to our, I believe, our third workshop in our social media marketing series. We've covered Twitter, we've covered LinkedIn, and we actually did a off-schedule marketing workshop, which was for nonprofits, and that one actually was really exciting. We partnered with TechSoup on that one. And today we are talking Pinterest. So it's a little bit of a turn because this is a little bit more friendly and creative and kind of fun to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, we are streaming this opportunity from 2 different locations. We have InWorld, a virtual headquarters here, and we have a few people here. We're really excited about that. Thanks for joining us. And we also are streaming live online via Join Me. So we have a chat panel in both areas. Feel free to chat away, and any questions that you may have, just go ahead and put them in the chat pane, either at the virtual headquarters or here on Join Me. Engage with us. So naturally, this is a social media workshop, so please engage with us. We've had some really exciting Twitter feeds during our webinars, and this one's no different. So use the hashtag virtual workshop either on Twitter or Google Plus to engage or ask questions or comment back about some of the awesome, exciting topics that we're talking about here. Again, we're in 2 different locations. We're here at the virtual headquarters, and we also have a webinar at Join Me. So if you're at the virtual headquarters and you start having a little trouble, please just go ahead and hit this link. Honey will go ahead and put that in the chat pane, or Aaliyah, so that way you can just click that link with ease and join us. And if you like to watch simultaneously, it's the same slides that you see here at the virtual headquarters, but it's kind of like a little backup. So today, again, we're going to talk social media. Why are we talking about social media? Why is it so important, especially from a business standpoint? Well, there's more than 1 billion monthly active users on Facebook, over 230 million active users on Twitter, and what better audience to share our brand with? As a brand owner, a brand marketer, a marketing manager, a business development analyst on your team, it's your job to make people aware of what your organization can offer. And the primary focus of that is to gain customers, to create some type of opportunity from all of this traffic that you're potentially getting from your social media platform. So that gets us a little bit into social media prospecting. What exactly is social prospecting? Social prospecting is the art of scouring the social web, identifying potential prospects, and then engaging them. So what does that really mean in layman's terms? That means that we go on the website, our social media sites, some of us have thousands, hundreds or thousands of followers or likes on our pages, and we do not know how to really convert that attention or, that attraction to customers. And if we have a business or we have a brand, that's the primary focus. So social media prospecting is scouring the social web. So, of course, getting engaged with all of those followers or likes or fans, and identifying which one of those are actually potential customers, and then engaging them. And engaging them more than just conversation, but in a way that actually determines what their needs are, and then delivering those needs and potentially turning them into a lifelong customer. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put those in our chat pane so we can get those at the end. So follow along with us during this workshop series. We have a social media prospecting workbook. Some of you here have already downloaded it. Thank you. Please do give me feedback. Let Honey or Nikki know what your feedback is, and it'll help us preparing for the next one. The entire purpose of this workbook is really to assist different brands and different organizations to learn more about social media prospecting. And it's actually a workbook that walks us through different steps, gives us worksheets and some homework on how to actually generate leads, how to convert that social media traffic into leads for your business. So the URL is here again on the slide. If you're InWorld, we'll post that for you. If you are on Join Me, we'll post that for you as well. Download the workbook and give us some feedback. And the series, it works hand in hand with the series. Again, in the workbook, we've covered Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, and we're doing the same thing with our webinar series. So now let's get into the meat of why we're here today. Why Pinterest? I mean, there's so many social networks out there today. I mean, there's way too many social networks out there today, in my personal opinion. So out of all of these social networks, why did we choose the ones that we did? And specifically, why did we choose Pinterest? We chose Facebook because there's, almost 1 billion, I think, followers and users of that social media network. I mean, if there's 1 billion people meeting on one platform, there has to be a potential customer somewhere, right? Twitter's the same. I think it's 230 million people who actively engage on Twitter on a daily basis. Now we have this new competitor, Pinterest. Well, Pinterest, they have a much smaller audience, but as you see, their audience is much more engaged with brands than the other two that we just mentioned. So currently they have 70 million users. And this quote right here says, if you've been ignoring Pinterest, you're late. But there's still time to catch up, and you should. Pinterest statistics are showing no signs of stopping their upward trend, and smart online publishers will take steps to grab a piece of the Pinterest pie for themselves. So that's by Beth Hayden, a copy blogger. I mean, overall, we're going to go through a little bit of, in the next slide we'll talk some specifics of these statistics and why you should catch up. Why do you want a piece of this Pinterest pie, right? So here's some statistics. The first one, according to Wishpond, 43% of Pinterest users like to associate with brands, whereas only 24% of Facebook users do. So what that means is that when most people are on Facebook, they are there to look at their friends' baby pictures, follow their friends' wedding, watch their friends travel, but it's all about social engagement. It's really like an extension of your family and friend circle. 90% of us do not want to be sold when we're visiting Facebook. So a lot of the times we're not liking brand pages. We don't want the Home Depot page. We don't want the nearest grocery store page. We're not liking that stuff on our Facebook. But on Pinterest, people go to Pinterest to buy, to shop, to learn how to do things. How do I cook this? Well, in order to cook something, you have to have a recipe. You have to have food, so you have to buy stuff. How do I wear this certain hairstyle? Well, in order to have natural hair or do some of these awesome things or to buy some of the fashion clothes that you see on Pinterest, you have to spend money. So people are looking on how to do things, how to find things. It's an idea board space. So just a little bit of background. Actually, I probably should have started this first. Just a little bit of background for anyone here who doesn't know what is Pinterest. And Pinterest is a idea board platform. So it's a platform where you have many different boards that allow you to disseminate or communicate ideas. So if I'm planning a wedding, I have a board that's just about inspirational ideas for planning this wedding. If I'm planning a vacation, then I'm going to have all these different places that I like to travel, hotels, airlines, venues, all that stuff will be on that same board. So I'm looking to spend money. So what better place for a brand to engage than a place where we're already looking to be a consumer? The second quote that we have here, a business study found that 66% of Pinterest users regularly follow and repin retailers. So that's a key word. I should have bolded that one, right? The same report found that only 17% of Facebook users said they rely on Facebook for purchasing inspiration. That's a huge difference, 66% and 17%. So again, when people are on Pinterest, they're looking to purchase. 17% of users on Facebook said that they're there for purchasing inspiration because you don't go to Facebook for that. So the third one, BizRate also reported that 69% of online consumers who visit Pinterest have found an item they have purchased or will purchase compared to only 40% of online consumers who visit Facebook. So now we'll get a little bit, so of course now you're all excited, right? We're all excited, yay, how do, Pinterest, now let's do it. How do we actually build our brand and, get some customers on Pinterest? So I've said this on every workshop that we've had so far. Your profile is your brand. Most businesses have a website that represents their brand. On any social media network, your profile is your brand. So first thing you should do, your username on Pinterest should match your real name or your business name, depending on what you're doing. Most of the time, your real name is best, depending on what you're selling or what your organization is selling, because people on social media, again, really like to relate more with people than with brands. The good thing about Pinterest, though, is that people do engage with brands on that platform. Fill out your About section and give a brief description of yourself or your business. So pretty simple stuff, self-explanatory. But you'd be surprised how many profiles are out there that don't have that information there. And that information should include keywords. So who are you? You know, if you're a travel agency, you should definitely have, of course, travel agency, silly, easy, easy keyword, but also some of the other features like destination wedding, you know, tropical venues, some things that people are actually going to search for and look for when they're trying to build their own boards on their pages. Include a link to your website. Again, seems self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised how many people don't have that. And upload a profile photo, preferably a headshot. Again, people want to see people. They want to talk to people. They want to follow people on these social media networks. A lot of brands, especially the bigger ones who have logos, but that's because their logos are already recognizable. You know, other than that, use a headshot. Use a person, use a real person for your Pinterest identity. Now we'll talk a little bit about content. With Pinterest, it is a highly visual platform, which means that it's all about the content. I mean, content is king, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes right now because we've heard that for years. Anyone in the marketing and branding industry, content is king. You know, from your blog articles to your social media to your website to digital signage. You know, it's all about the messaging. It's all about the branding. So one of the key things here on any social media platform, really in any messaging, any successful messaging, is you want to sell your value, not your accomplishment. So, quick quote, one of the biggest mistakes marketeers make on Pinterest is to pitch their own business instead of listening to what customers want to see. Provide value, offer compelling content, and educate, entertain 80% of the time. Showcase your product closer to 20% of the time. So 80% of the time, you're going to post it. Again, we'll keep running with this wedding inspiration, right? Because this is a huge wedding follower from Pinterest. I use it actually to help with our wedding. So with Pinterest, you know, 80% of the time, if I'm a wedding planner, then 80% of the time, I'm going to post about beautiful wedding dresses, about beautiful bridesmaid gowns, about best wedding destinations, best wedding venues, catering, and just images and idea boards, so that way my consumer, my bride-to-be, comes to my board for inspirational ideas that have nothing to do with my product or service. I'm not selling her anything. But of course, you have to make a living. That's why we're all here. So 20% of that content will be specific to your audience. And I'll give a couple of examples about how to do that as we continue to move forward. Do not pitch. So this is more like the 80s where you have these marketing agencies or these businesses out there that, you know, go door to door and sell. In the information age that we're in today, no one, absolutely no one, wants to be sold to. Everyone is informed and they want to be able to make their own decision. So our goal is, the best strategic goal, honestly, is to educate and entertain. So we want to educate people on how to make that decision and kind of pull them in our direction so that when they make that decision, they're looking for us. So some ways to do that. You know, pin some create how-to boards. Wedding planner, how, you know, DIY. Yeah, DIY is huge in the wedding industry. That's do it yourself for, you know, the men in the room. But most of us women know that. You know, do it yourself. So you have a do it yourself board for weddings. You know, how to find the best wedding planner. And these are boards that people are actually going to go to. Ebooks and informative articles. Another great audience on Pinterest, recipes. That's how to market. Everyone is, you know, a lot of people on health kits or people trying to cook, and it's all about how to do something. So you're informing people. Entertainment. The first thing that people will be attracted to on your Pinterest board will be images. Images can be in quotes, videos, So you're using your imagery, your content to capture their attention, and then once you have their attention, to actually engage. That's about 80% right there. The other 20%, you're going to use examples. Examples of how others are using your product or service in interesting ways. So, I mean, I hate to go back to this. Actually, I don't, because weddings are awesome. So an example for this wedding planner really is they have one board that's just testimonials. That's just pictures of their bride, you know, pictures of their wedding. And they're kind of mixed in with everything else, but only about 20%. So that way it's not a sales board. You know, it's an inspiration board for all brides to be, mothers of the bride, bridesmaids, groomsmen too, you know, guys sometimes like to get involved. So, continue to create quality content. One, only pin things that interest your followers and represent your brand. I agree with this for the most part. You know, when I say only, you know, only is a strong word, right? So when I say only pin things that interest your followers, that's true. So if you're trying to get a crowd that is about art, that loves art, then you probably are not going to post anything about cars or sharks or, you know, something that's totally opposite of your messaging. If you are trying to get someone art, one of the things that you would post, of course, art galleries. You would post and art in different forms or fashion, maybe digital art, maybe 3D art. You know, you want to get anyone who's in that world involved, and those are the type of things that you would post because they do represent your brand. Pinning visually appealing content catches the attention of more potential followers. So we just touched that. We're going to get into it a little bit deeper. It's all about visually appealing content. It's a visual board. It's an idea board. So the better your images, the higher quality your images, that's what people are looking for. The first thing they see is an image. So if you are a catering business and you're selling food, the images of your food should be eye-popping, engaging, colorful, and beautiful. That's what and appetizing. People are going to look at the image, and then they're going to follow you. Then they will repin your pin. Brand images are 23% more likely to be repinned if the image is not of a face. Again, if you're catering, we really don't want to see someone eating the food. We want to see the food. You know, if you are a photographer, we don't want to see a picture of the photographer taking photos. We would like to see the photos. If you're an artist, we don't want to see the artist painting. We want to see her artwork. So here's some really specific methods for your imagery, right? So really specific tips for your imagery. One, colorful images are preferred. Black and white, if it's beautiful, jaw-dropping, amazing, go ahead. But most of your stuff should be really colorful, really engaging. You know, a board is usually, or Pinterest, it's usually, you know, 3 across or 4 across, depending on your screen, and then like endless responsive scroll down. So, you know, you want to be able to stand out from the other images that are there, and the best way to do that, color. Our eyes are always drawn to color. One of my girlfriends, she's telling me about newborns. She's actually on our webinar today, and she says, you know, as you plan this nursery, newborns, they're not really attracted to pale colors. They can't see them. It's eye-popping, hot colors, you know, and it's the same thing for us as we grow older. Maybe we're just, you know, indoctrinated early. Maybe it's just science. Who knows? But, you know, those colorful, I was going to say colorful colors, that doesn't really make sense. So that colorful artwork, colorful images, that's really what is going to grab the attention of your audience. Number 2, this one's actually pretty cool. Red, orange, and brown images are 2 times more likely to be repinned than blue images. And I come from a science background, who'd have thought, right? But I think it's because blue is just really a mute color. It's a beautiful color. It's really calming. You know, I use that mostly for my clients that are in my consulting. You know, still something warm, but it's just really calming. Your eye thinks serenity, kind of when you think about blues. Red, orange, brown, they're engaging colors. They're action colors, and they really entice people to pin or repin, you know, your stuff or to follow you. So just something to keep in mind. I mean, I don't expect you all to run out there and look for images that only have those colors. I mean, it will really make for a really boring world and a really boring Pinterest. But just think about that. You know, if you're posting, again, travel destinations, and of course travel destinations, everyone wants to see the blue ocean. Well, how about a blue ocean with, you know, a hot guy with red or orange swim trunks on, or a red or orange umbrella? I said a hot guy because, you know, hot girls are overused. So just a tip for your marketing. And number 3, images with medium lightness are 20 times more likely to be repinned than dark, mostly black images. Again, a black image is easily faded out, easily just kind of overlooked. You just want something that's bright and vibrant. It's pretty much the message there. A pin is repinned an average of 10 times. So again, just a quick vocab 101. A repin is very similar to a retweet on Twitter, or a share on Facebook, or a +1 on Google. It's a way to share the content to your audience. Or what's even cooler about Pinterest, it's a way to save that information to your own board. So if I'm looking through my my feed and I see a recipe on, you know, paleo, I went to this paleo thing, right? So there's, you know, paleo, I love cheese, so like paleo cauliflower mashed potatoes or something. It just really gets me going. So I can then repin that to one of my boards, so whenever I want that recipe, I can go back to that. So it's just it's a much higher engagement. So this is high compared to the average tweet, which is only retweeted about 1% of the time. I mean, for someone who's actively engaged in social media like myself, I can definitely vouch for this. Honestly, I'm probably slacking because I don't even track how many repins I get because there's so many that come in. That's not to brag. That's really a blessing. Retweets, I could probably count on, you know, both hands and toe and feet, like how many retweets you actually get. And I'm sure you guys can all relate as well. So again, Pinterest is really about engagement. It hasn't become super salesy. People are still there to engage and to get involved in what's going on there. And then share, share, share. Share, 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 right? The more you share and pin to your board, the more you will get your name out there. So you have to be active. If you have 3 boards and 10 pins each, you're probably not going to get repinned that often. Every once in a while, because it's great content, but the more stuff you have on there, the better. I mean, honestly, Pinterest is really addictive. It's really fun, you know, especially when you're working on a project. One of the things that we worked on last year was my girlfriend's baby shower. And because you do a lot of personal stuff, right? And we did a safari-themed baby shower. And one of the things we'll talk about soon is group boards. And so on that board, there were about 4 or 5 of us, and we're just throwing all of our ideas on that board. And when I go back and look at it now, I think it's like 100 and something pins in that board. And forever, there's this board for anyone looking for safari-themed baby shower. And really, it's really popular right now. Who would have thunk it? So I get a lot of attention on that board, actually. So pretty cool. So again, the more you share and pin to your board, the more you will get your name out there. So just be active. I mean, that's engagement 101. That's on every platform you have. Relationships. Again, engagement. I didn't really go that hard this time. Usually I spend a lot more time on just engaging, and so this is the time that we talk about that. I've said this over and over and over again, so if you've been to the workshop series, you know, you've heard it before, but no one on social media wants to be sold. And, you know, the worst thing you can do with your social media platforms is just send one-way communication about yourself, really. You know, that's the 80-20 rule. If you just hop on the social media once a week when you blog an article and you just send out messaging like, hey, here's my article, click me, you're just another voice in an abyss of social networks, right? So the best thing to use these platforms for are engagement. I mean, your Facebook page, right? The reason you have a pop-in, my slang, right? The reason you have a pop-in Facebook page is because you talk to people, you comment on people's stuff, you look at their page, you know, there's engagement. So that's why there's a lot of activity there. You have to take the same approach with your brand. So here, let's go through some steps, right? So first, you have to be proactive. So develop a primary and secondary connect list. So who's your primary audience? Who's your secondary audience? If I am a If I am a travel agent, let's go back to that one. If I'm a travel agent, who's my primary audience? Is my audience business travel? So am I looking for business travelers for this year? Is that my primary customer focus? And secondary is destination, brides, destination weddings. Well, then I'm going to have a strategic approach to the type of content that I send out to engage those two audiences. Use hot button topics to connect. That's just kind of, what we've been talking about the whole time, the importance of your content. Hot button topics. So what's something that's going on in the media today? You want to use something that's just really shark bites, shark attacks. Shark attacks are absolutely everywhere. So that's something that, again, if you're a travel agent, if you're a wedding planner, you focus on destination weddings, you can pin, tweet, Facebook, blog about these shark attacks. These are destinations to avoid in warm weather, because they're infested with sharks. Or, how to be cautionary. And then the best thing to do on a board like Pinterest is make sure that you have the most attractive, quote unquote, because they're probably going to be pretty gross, but attractive, eye-appealing, engaging photos of sharks. I won't say shark attacks because I don't know. I've never, it's a whole different spin on it. But, sharks and water and jaws-like imagery that's really going to get people clicking on your stuff. Provide relevant content instead of pushing products and services. So repetitive, right? I've said that 1,000 times today, but it's so important, that 80-20 rule. You'll hear some more before we finish today. Encourage connections to connect with you about their needs and not yours. And the good thing about Pinterest is that's kind of ingrained. It's kind of already there just based on the platform itself. People are there to find out stuff for themselves. They want to know how to design a nursery. They want to know how to throw a party, how to plan a wedding, how to cook this recipe, best workout methods, best artists, best hairstyles. I mean, you'd be amazed. There's so many categories out there, and I can only touch on the ones that I'm super interested in because that's where I spend most of my time on Pinterest, but you'd be amazed at how much stuff is out there. And so it's kind of ingrained already in the platform for people to be all about themselves. So you just want to make sure that the content that you're disseminating kind of meets that need. So you guys are kind of meeting somewhere in the middle. And then continue providing value-add content. Content. So building this audience. So we've talked about what some of the things you need to do. Let's get a little bit more specific to Pinterest, right? 80% of the pins on Pinterest are repins. Make your content pin-worthy. Again, most of the, unlike, what's a good one? Well, I would say that's probably relevant to most social networks, but most of the content, 80%, that's a lot. So there's very little original content. There's very few people actually going to your website, seeing an image that they like, and pinning it. Most of the content comes from someone scrolling through their feed, seeing a recipe that they love, and repinning it on their page. So again, make your recipes the best. Make your images the best so people want to come back and look at them later. Honestly, if it's Sunday afternoon and I'm cooking dinner for my family, I go to Pinterest. If I'm going to the supermarket and I need to put together my grocery list, I'm back to Pinterest. I'm looking for what recipes I'm going to cook that week and building out my grocery list. So make sure your stuff is repinnable because then people put it on their own board, it's in their environment, and you're part of their life forever. It does not get lost once they repin it to their board. This one is a little social media strategy kind of. Comment on the most popular pins on the popular feed. So there's a feed on there, the popular feed. It has popular content, just random popular stuff, right? Go find it, what's the benefit of that? If it's popular, it's really engaged. It's highly engaged. There's a lot of people on it. There's a lot of people interested in it. And the best thing to do, of course, to comment on it. That's like just strategic. Really only comment on it if you have a genuine comment to say. The next one goes into that. Only comment pins that are relevant to you and your brand, and avoid comments like great pin or nice. Make it readable, make it worthy. Try to spark a conversation. And then warning: don't comment on posts that are more than 2 to 3 times a day. And that means don't comment on the same post. Just to keep getting attention. I mean, honestly, it sucks. Like, you can tell the difference between someone who's really there to have a conversation and someone who's just seeking attention on your social media page. It's more annoying than anything else, and everyone can see it. We're all savvy enough these days with social media to know the difference. So, and on the flip side, Pinterest will mark you as spam and suspend your account. I mean, for anyone out there who's ever had a social media account or, virtual account suspended, it is not pretty, kind of emotional and hurts you to the soul a little bit. So who wants that? Who wants to go through that, especially if you have a huge audience or a great friend base on that social platform? So just be careful. So the key here is engagement. Again, engage, engage, engage. Use the popular feed to get. I really think instead of using the popular feed for comments and engagement, that's a good strategy to use. So keep that in mind. But more so, use it for to get you some content. Because if I'm on the popular feed and I see something, a recipe that I really, really love, and I decide, okay, and everyone's liking it so far, well, all the people who've liked it so far, who've repinned it so far, they may not be in my circle. They might not be my audience. So if I take it and repin it on my page, now it's a whole new audience, and it will probably get taken from my page as well. Promote your popular board. So your most popular boards, each one of your pages will have your own board. We'll have several boards, ideally, right? We talked about having, as many as possible, not as many as possible. If you start off with 4 or 5 that have a lot of great content, it's better than having 20 that are really lame, honestly. But what you want to do is take your most popular boards and put them in the top row so that potential followers can easily see. So the ones with the most content, the ones that are repinned most often, those are the ones that you should highlight the most. Invite followers to contribute to your board. So this is one of my favorite things about Pinterest. Group boards. Group boards are super, super fun and super, super exciting, especially when you're planning something. The logic behind it, marketing-wise, is that it will keep your board full of fresh content. So how do group boards work? I set up a board for a baby shower. These are just very real topics I'm giving you guys, right? Very relevant to my life today. So setting up a board is for a baby shower, and I'm not planning the baby shower, my friends are, but now we're all going, and then I invite my friends to the same board. And what it does is it allows everyone who's on this board to now post their ideas as well. So it's just a huge hodgepodge of everyone throwing their ideas together. It's super fun. And the logic behind it, marketing-wise, is it'll keep your content fresh. So your feed, when people are looking at the feed of content that you're publishing, it will always be in there. The other cool thing about it is that the group board also shows on your friends' pages. So if they have a different audience than you, those pins will still get repinned by a greater audience, right? And contribute to group boards. Why? Because, again, it keeps your content fresh. And they're bigger group boards. So I think, is it Target? Target has a group board that's all about party planning. So of course it's Target, huge brand, so there's probably a gazillion people on there. So if you're actively contributing to a board, great content, of course, quality content that there's a lot of people that are super active on, it's highly likely that that people are highly active on and also very interested in the same subject matter. It's very likely that your stuff will get repinned. So again, let's take an art gallery. If you belong to a Pinterest group that's all about, that's for, let's see, who would the target audience for an art gallery be? Of course it's going to be people who can afford to buy art and who are very interested in art. So it could be, let's say, people buying their first home. That's like a nice audience. People buying their first home, or retirees. You belong to a board for first-time home buyers, and they're decorating their house. Interior design, that's another great audience. Then you post your content, it's highly likely that your content will get picked up and repinned because the people going to that board are looking to buy what you're selling. So here's a bonus. So now we've kind of covered the hot topic of Pinterest, right? Great content, engagement, building your audience. The 80-20 rule, again, 80-20 rule is pretty big here, guys. Make sure most of your content is relevant to your audience, but not specific to your brand. It works, trust me. So here's the bonus. So here's a fun strategic plan or strategic operation that you can do, right? So host a Pinterest contest. This is super popular. A lot of people do it, but it's not saturated in the Pinterest world, so you're not going to look crazy for doing it. What are some tips to do this? One, require contestants to follow you in order to enter the contest. Seems pretty self-explanatory, right? You can't, if you're not getting followers, what's your objective? Is ultimately to get customers, so the first point of contact is going to be to get these people to follow you. And then they're constantly getting your content once they follow you. The better the prize, that should be prize. The better the prize, the more followers you can expect to gain. So if you're like Oprah and you're giving away a brand new car, then you'll probably get a lot more followers than if you're giving away an ink pen. So just keep that in mind, right? But of course you don't have to break the budget. The best thing to do is pre-plan in advance. What's your outcome? What's your objective? How many people do you want to get? How many customers do you want to get from these followers? And then determine what's your ROI, what's your return on investment, and then determine how much you're actually going to invest in this. And create a pinnable contest image that includes the following. So again, it's all about your content. It's all about your imagery. So it should include the following: logo, call to action. Call to action is basically telling them descriptively what to do. Join today, register today, click now, click here, visit this website, call this telephone number. So something, a measurable action that can help you determine if you're actually getting that return on investment. The word, contest or giveaway. People know there's something in it for them, right? And the contest end date and whatever that prize will be. And again, if it's a really awesome prize, if you're giving away a car, make the image of the car. That's what people are going to enter for, right? The piece of artwork, make the image of the art. With a trip, make the image of the destination. Here's a sample, host a Pinterest contest. I got this from Marketo. So it's a win-win situation. Pin-to-win contests are a way to gather new followers. These contests are also a way to keep your Pinterest page full of dynamic content. So for example, with this one, a lot of them are people have to post as well as, so let's say you set up a group board and people have to post 20 items to that group board, follow you, and sign up for your email list. That's a contest. And then you kind of randomly determine who's the winner after a 30-day period. So what that does is your group board is constantly being engaged. Maybe you have the rules like, make sure that the content that they're pinning isn't already pinned to that board, or something like that. So with this pin-to-win contest, it's from ModCloth, and they invited their followers to create and submit Pinterest boards to inspire ModCloth's upcoming wedding campaign. This generated tons of beautiful, relevant content for the ModCloth page. So they just had these boards created, and then they had their followers or these the contest in many, many different places. And that's how you get people engaged. So now we're going to take some questions. I have some questions here, and let me pull them up real quick. So we have a question here from Sosa, and she says, I use Pinterest personally, different boards for different interests, and as just a user. That's how I started. The best way, so addictive and so fun. I get it all, what you're saying, but it's really rare that I click through to websites or shop from what I'm pinning. The question I have is, how can all this time spent marketing without marketing through posting pictures and how-tos, etc., equate to converting to sales? Is it all just building audience? Great question. Great question. So first I would say I use Pinterest primarily personally. I just absolutely love it, right? And what I will say as well is I have, on a few occasions, found something that I really liked and clicked through to purchase it. Few. On many occasions, I have found an idea that I really loved and went offline to purchase it, right? So hair products, hair care products, or an outfit or design. Like I didn't click through to make the purchase, but I actually still ended up purchasing the item from a retailer. So my quick and dirty answer would be, Pinterest really should be a part of your broader social media marketing plan, right? I personally, it's the best platform for consumers, for getting customers, depending on what industry you're in. But it definitely needs to be used with, within your social media strategy. Did I answer your question? Okay, we have, perfect. So we have another one here. Here's one for you. For SL specifically, how can doing all of this graphic visual stuff compare with doing all these same things on Flickr? Where SL art for SL businesses, anyway, it's so prevalent. Similar concepts, different audience. Further question, how big is the SL resident audience on Pinterest as compared to Facebook or Facebook? Honestly, I don't know when it comes to just a specific virtual world audience on Pinterest. I think that, right now there's this thing going on where there's really a huge crossover. Of course, with Facebook buying, the glass Oculus Rift, and there's really a movement now for 3D and virtual, and I think both worlds are really going to coincide soon. So I think it's really important for virtual world businesses to jump on the bandwagon and start building, figuring out a way for that crossover. I mean, you guys do it very well. You guys touch on some real life topics, Philippa, with your magazine, and some of the other brands do too. I'd say, as far as the comparison between Flickr and Pinterest, they're definitely just two different platforms. If you're selling clothing or you're selling jewelry or something that's super visual, it's nice to show on Flickr, but generally people aren't going to click through to Flickr to make a purchase. Whereas a lot of the times when people are on Pinterest, they're looking for information on how to do something. They don't know they're looking to buy something, but they're looking for information on how to get to a destination. And a lot of times that involves spending a little bit of money. Cool. Let's have a couple more here. I'd like to know, what's the best platform to promote our sorority? We have a mall, and we need better marketing. We also do real estate. So, so to promote a sorority, okay, let's start with the mall. That's really just easiest, and it's probably closer to my heart, right? But to promote a mall, Pinterest is definitely a great platform. You promote your items that you have there, and again, it's that 80-20 rule. So a lot of the times you will be posting content that has nothing to do specifically with your mall, but if your mall has, I'm assuming, lots of fashion, so you're going to post all the different fashion that you have there, different types of fashion. So let's say one of the stores is about business casual. Well, you're going to promote idea boards on business casual outfits, so photography, photo shoots, all of that type of stuff. If you are promoting your sorority, and it depends on your audience. I'm going to go more from a real-life perspective. If you're promoting a sorority and it's primarily to, let's say, college kids, right, then, your boards are going to be about stuff that's really attractive to college kids and stuff that honestly is really attractive to sororities. Community service. So you can have a board on community service. Most sororities have colors. So you can have a fashion board, a female fashion board that's just for fashion wearing your colors, a male board just for wearing fashion with your colors, some of these social things that you do. So, and again, it's not going to be specific to you, so it could be you would probably want to be inclusive of other sororities as well, or have a board that's just sorority life, and pull in, even though you're a virtual sorority, you would still pull in real life examples just to get people really excited about being on your page. And like, again, with virtual businesses today, it's a two-way street, right? It's one, you want to engage your virtual audience, but now, two, you also want to engage a real-life audience and get them interested in what you're doing virtually. Honestly, real dollars go a lot further than virtual dollars do. Cool. So I think Absolutely. And again, guys, I am available to everyone here offline, whether I'm presenting or whether I'm not. You guys know how to reach me, and you know how to reach the team here. We also are offering a free website, a free website and digital marketing assessment. So if you want to have this conversation offline, get in touch with Honey or get in touch with Nikki, and I'll make some time for you to kind of just go through specifically your case. Because again, I really do believe that having a complete, comprehensive social media strategy is going to work better than just, trying to figure out what to do for using one of these platforms. And for anyone who was here last week, I think it was, or last month, when we did talk LinkedIn or even the social media for nonprofits, one of my big things is that people really don't understand, and Philippa really hit it on the head, that we all know time is money, and social media marketing takes a lot of time. And that's why for a brand, I highly recommend, if you're at a point where you can, that you get you have a dedicated person or persons on your team who specifically handles the social media strategy that you put forward. If you're the CEO of your company, you're really not going to have that 10 to 20 hours a week to really manage and engage your social media strategy. The time is money, and it's a lot. It really is. So for any of these conversations that you guys want to have offline, please, I know we all have busy schedules, but please feel free to reach out to me, to engage with me, and we'll get this done. We'll get it worked out for you. We will have this video online for you. We also have the other videos that if you weren't able to make them, and the workbook on our website under resources. If you go to resources, social media marketing, you'll be able to check those out. And lastly, here's our contact information. There's our website. For any general inquiries, reach out to inbox@virtualvillagemedia.com. We're U.S.-based, so we have a global reach. So, Honey and Nikki will be online 24/7. I'm just joking. Before she kills me, I'm totally joking. It was just a joke. But really, guys, thanks for coming.